Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Strawberry in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I'm 22 years old and just got the news that I'm dying. I failed at life and am now leaving behind a 3-year-old daughter." As the title says, last week I received the news from my doctor that I am dying from lung cancer. It turns out that smoking since I was 15 and then increasing it to 3 packs a day a few years ago was a bad idea. Stupid, I know. I thought it wouldn't come so soon. It's stage 4, and as of now, I have only months to live. Please don't feel bad for me. I've done nothing good in life except have my daughter to really warrant sadness about losing me. I have no family because I grew up in the foster system and aged out at 18. My daughter's father is in prison for serious crimes, and even if he were released, he wouldn't be allowed to be in her life. My daughter is only 3 years old. We don't live in a good area, and when I go to work, I have to leave her with an elderly neighbor who always gets her name wrong. I don't want her to grow up like I did in the foster care system. I feel like it's the reason why I messed up and did nothing good with my life. Yes, I know it's not the only reason. My own mistakes caused most of my issues. But if I had just some family or a support system to keep me in check, things could have been better. I want to give her a chance to have a better shot than I did. The thing is, I do have an idea for who could take care of her. One of my closest friends is a coworker at my job, and she's amazing. While I'm at the bottom of the job hierarchy, if they need to lay off people, I would definitely be the first to go. She's their prized worker and makes serious money. She has a good husband and a child. I want to ask her if she would be willing to adopt my little girl once I'm gone. But I know it might not go well. The issue is that my coworker and her family are black, while my daughter and I are white. We both have blue eyes and can't tan. We are very fair-skinned. There is no way I can ask my friend to adopt my daughter and force her to deal with the challenges that an adoption like that would bring to her family. But then that just leaves my little girl to grow up like I did in a broken system with only a will of about $1,000 to help her and a necklace from my mother that I'm going to give her. I don't know if I should bite the bullet and ask my close friend if she is willing to take my daughter or just suck it up and try to work as hard as I can to put as much money into my will for my girl. Either way, I feel like I failed as a mother, and that is a regret I'm literally taking to my grave. Edit. Okay, I reached out to her and we were able to set up a place to meet. It's a simple, inexpensive bakery where you can eat inside. I'm going to ask her if she can adopt my daughter. That way, if she says no, I'll have more time to go to an adoption agency near us. Thank you for the support, everyone. Update. Alright, I'm back now. A day after my post, I was able to meet up with my friend/coworker. After telling her about my diagnosis, something I haven't shared with anyone at work, I asked her if she was willing to adopt my little girl. She was shocked and tried to comfort me about my upcoming death. However, she couldn't give me her answer right then and there. It turns out she does want a daughter, but a complication during her second pregnancy caused some issues I don't feel comfortable sharing. She wants to consider adopting, but first needed to discuss it with her husband and plan if he agrees. I understood, given it was a significant change for their family. I said okay, and after we ate, she gave me a hug and told me she would miss me. Embarrassingly, I started crying. The emails gave me this idea, which I thought was amazing. So I created an email for my daughter and started pre-recording videos for various life events. It's nowhere near complete, but I already have some ideas and have recorded videos for her birthdays, first crushes, prom, and first job. Sadly, I realized while planning that most videos will be "don't do what I did." My friend reached out to me a few days ago and said that after a long discussion with her husband, they are both considering it. Apparently, they have a process where after discussing a significant life change, they agree on something, wait a while, and if they're still on the same page, it sounds like a good idea. She emphasized that it wasn't a definitive yes, there are some issues they want to resolve first. She explained that while they both like the idea, they barely know my daughter. Her husband and 6-year-old son haven't even met her, and while she has heard about her, it's only through me. They developed a plan. For the rest of this month, I'll drop off my daughter at their house 2 hours earlier than normal, allowing her husband, who works from home, to watch her. I'll then go to work with my coworker. This way, her husband and son can get to know her. She also suggested we celebrate Christmas together, which is something to look forward to. I did this yesterday, and when I picked up my daughter, she was the happiest I've seen her in a long time. My friend's husband said they had a rocky start. She was initially scared and hesitant to play with their son. However, considering it was their first day, he believes she'll improve. We repeated the arrangement today, and he noted that she mostly watched their son play, which was already an improvement from yesterday. That's the current situation. I'm anxious this might lead to nothing, but at the very least, my daughter is now creating better memories than she had with me. Even if they ultimately say no, she's experiencing something more positive. Update 2, I'm back again. I apologize for being gone so long. A lot has happened and this will be my last post. So this is going to be long, sorry. First, I started feeling really sick days after Christmas. My whole chest was hurting like someone was hitting it with a hammer over and over, and I was coughing up blood. My best friend was terrified that I had caught something because the doctor said that getting sick right now could be deadly, so we had to go to the doctor. Thankfully, I hadn't caught anything. It was just the symptoms getting worse. Also, fortunately, at the time, I was still at work, so I didn't have to pay much for the bills. Yeah, that was another terrible thing that happened to me recently. After that trip to the hospital, my work called me in privately. Remember how I said that if something were to happen, I would be the first to go? Guess what? The bosses were telling me how they couldn't keep me there as I'm dying because it wouldn't feel right, and how it's apparent to them my illness was slowing me down and forcing my coworkers to work harder to make up for me wouldn't be fair and all that. I know I was just causing more problems for my coworkers since I got diagnosed, but I didn't think they would complain about me to my bosses. I'm so stupid for that. Of course, I was being a burden. I was hoping to still be with them to the end of the month so I could pay my apartment rent. And I had barely enough money for bills, rent, groceries, public transport, and hospital bills. This is where my best friend slash former coworker comes in. After testing out caring for my little girl for a few weeks and spending a big holiday with them, she and her husband agreed to adopt her. She was telling me about some of her plans, and I told her it would probably be for the best that my daughter moves in with them. She asked me why, and I told her our work fired me and I wouldn't be able to care for both of us with so little money. She told me we both could move in with them. They have plenty of guest rooms I could pick from. I swear I tried to say no. Her family was already doing so much for us. I felt like this was too much. She told me I could be a huge help for them living there during my last months. Her husband could use the help looking after her as he works. I can help them decorate and fix up her new room, show them the foods my daughter likes to eat. So I promise I'm not going to be a bother to them, and we are hard at work getting the needed papers together for the adoption after I'm gone. Besides, me living there could help my little girl become more comfortable in her new home. And guess how rich her family is? They have a personal family lawyer. When I haven't been feeling sick, we've been working with him to make sure the adoption goes through. Okay, after all of that, I do want to share some other fun news. Christmas with them was probably the best Christmas my daughter and even I have ever had in our entire lives. My friend's family had like 5 Christmas trees in their entire house. Thanks to my friend, I was able to make a really special Christmas gift for my daughter, a Build-A-Bear. Well, it was really a bunny, but still. I made a voice recording telling her how much I love her and will always try to keep her safe. And my friend knows about the emails. I'm almost done with them actually, just a few more left. I gave her the password to both the email and this Reddit account, so once I pass, she could delete this one. Sorry, but I've been getting so many messages I don't want people to message me when I'm gone. And about the messages, I've received a lot since I updated. Apparently, my story was shared on TikTok, which is cool. It's strange to have so many people reaching out and wanting to talk. I have never experienced this in my life. It's funny how it happens once I'm dying. Many have said that if my friend had said no, they would love to adopt my little girl. Thank you, but thankfully my friend did say yes. If you still want to adopt, please reach out to a foster care system in your state. There are still children struggling in the system going through what I did. Give those kids the life I could never have. I've also had some people offer to pay me money to help. Please don't bother, sorry, but it feels weird accepting money. My whole life, I've worked for everything I've had, so it feels wrong to accept help from strangers just because I'm dying. I do want to address a few messages I've received about race. Most were about why I cared about my friend's family and the difference in race between me and my daughter. It wasn't a lot, but a few called me a racist for being concerned about that. I want to clarify that my nerves about this aren't because I think being white makes me and my daughter better than my friend. Far from it. I've seen a lot in the system and talked with other kids of different races. Those kids were often placed in care with people who were also of a different race from them. They would tell me about the problems they faced from their parents. Not that I'm scared my friend will do that, but also from the outside world. Being called names and insulted. One kid told me how she was screamed at by an older lady at a restaurant, and the parents tried to get involved, which led to a nasty fight. So yes, I was scared that her family and my daughter would face the same bigotry that the foster kids I knew experienced before. But I can't let my fears about some bigots ruin my daughter's chances. Anyway, this will probably be the last time I post here. I don't want to waste my last days. I've thought about taking up painting again actually. I used to paint when I was in high school before I dropped out, and once in the same school, we read a classic book about a world where books are banned. I don't remember much from the story, but I do recall a character saying at the end that you don't waste life when you create something to leave behind. That always stuck with me. I want to paint something. Maybe my friend could hang it up or keep it in their attic, but as long as I've left something behind, my life wasn't for nothing, right? I also need to help my friend's family and my daughter settle into their new lives. Thank you to everyone for your kindness, and goodbye. Final update. I've written and deleted this post so many times. She asked me to update for all of you when she passed, and yet I couldn't until now. For that, I'm sorry. We buried her 2 weeks ago. My coworkers, our family, and even some friends she managed to keep in touch with throughout her life showed up to her funeral. When she saw the prices of the casket and cemetery plot, she had a panic attack. So we told her we'd go with the cheapest options. We lied about that. She deserved a good funeral and a nice resting place. Her name was Michelle. She was placed in the foster care system when she was 3 after her mother died in a car accident. She never knew her father. When she was 16, the man who was supposed to be caring for her took her out of high school. She discovered she was pregnant by him when she was 18, and it was revealed he had horrific images and videos of children on his computer, resulting in his arrest. Ever since then, she had been working and doing her absolute best to make ends meet for herself and her daughter. She got a job at our workplace just a few weeks after turning 19. I only discovered a few months ago that she had actually lied to get the job. When I asked Michelle why she did that, she responded, "Why would it be a big deal? They taught me everything anyway." That was the Michelle I knew. It shocks me reading over the messages she left behind. How little she thought of herself. She was always so confident, at least how we all saw her. She walked with her head held high and with purpose. She never appeared out of control of a situation except for the past few months, and honestly, I believe she was allowed to have moments of panic and grief. Nothing got past her. She seemed to know everything happening around her at all times. It also seemed like Michelle wasn't afraid of anything. She even made friends with some homeless people in the areas she lived in before moving in with us. One was Ted, whom she knew from around a gas station near the bus stop. Before her cancer took a turn for the worst and she was hospitalized, she asked me to drive her there. I thought she wanted to see some familiar sights. Instead, she walked into the gas station, bought a sandwich, and handed it to Ted. Ted showed up at her funeral. I don't want to describe her last few weeks. She was in the hospital, weak and frail, just not like her. We visited her as much as we could. Our children hated seeing her in such a state. We all did, but we couldn't ignore her or leave her behind. I wonder if it was the right thing to do. During our last visit, I had a feeling it was the end. She was asleep when she finally passed. She had gladioli and poppies at her funeral. We all loved the meaning behind the gladioli flower, and she picked poppies because she loved calling our daughter her little poppy. We painted little poppies on her bedroom walls. She keeps asking us where her mother is and always sleeps with the Build-A Bear bunny Michelle made. Michelle never got to finish her painting, but I think that makes it more special. We're going to hang it up in our daughter's room when she gets older. The emails are finished and she'll see her first one on her 4th birthday. We have all the letters and recipes she was able to write down tucked away in a safe location. Like the painting, we'll give them to her as she grows older. We also applied our daughter for full Social Security survivors benefits and will be putting those into a savings account for future college or life use. That's all I can think of right now. According to Michelle's wishes, I'll be deleting this account in a few weeks. My husband and I promise we will raise our daughter to the very best of our ability and ensure she is as loved as Michelle loved her. Thank you all for your kind words and support. It's just a terrible situation for OP. It's unfortunate that from the very start, she was in a bad environment. There really isn't much else to say, except that I hope OP's daughter can live a good life. I'm glad to hear that she was visited by her friends and family in her last days. This is just a really heartbreaking story. User Fidel Costco said, I certainly don't think she failed at life. I am struck by the kindness of people, her co-workers and friends, especially the one who took in her daughter, and by the heartfelt advice people gave her. That bunny with a recording is so heartbreaking and moving. Damn pollen in the air. Rest well, Michelle. To this user, Peony said, she was dealt the worst cards for most of her life, and her last wishes were for a loving family for her daughter and to feed her homeless friend. She goddamn won at life. I hope wherever she is, she finally knows this. User Wow Bragger said, this is crushing, but I think we need this type of hurt sometimes. I know I need these reminders of the lives and struggles people face that can be so alien to my own. God bless all of you. You're all so special and deserve to be loved. This next post was made in the advice subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, I have a chance to date my old high school crush, but I'm engaged. I had a crush on this girl Carla since middle school and into high school, but she never paid me any mind. I left for the military and met Sarah, who is a nurse and wants to become a nurse practitioner. Sarah was the typical type of girl I dated. I left the military to do contracting work and moved back to my home state. One day while I was getting drinks at the bar, Carla was my bartender. She didn't recognize me, but when I told her my name, she couldn't believe it. She said she couldn't believe how much I had changed. I started becoming a regular and eventually exchanged contact information with her to catch up. Throughout this time, she told me she has a crush on me even though she knows I have a fiance. She said she likes how driven I am now I'm conflicted. She says that she will give me time to think about what I want to do. My fiance and I are doing great, but I feel like Sarah is normally the type of woman I always get. Carla is someone I never had the opportunity with or thought I would. I don't want to hurt Sarah, but I feel like I would regret this forever if I don't pursue it. Update. I broke her heart. I love Sarah so much and I stupidly called off the wedding to be with my old crush a few weeks ago. Throughout the couple of weeks, Carla used me as a piggy bank. That's all I fucking was to her. I spoiled her, paid for her hair, nails, etc. I gave her everything. I found out she used the money I Zelled her to buy a ticket for some guy to come see her. I'm sick to my stomach. I reached out to Sarah, but she feels betrayed and said she doesn't want to be sloppy seconds. But she's not. I love her and needed this to realize it. OP is garbage. Plain and simple, this guy is just wildly immature. You have a woman who actually loves you, but you decide to dump her just to be with a girl you had a crush on 7 to 9 years ago. I understand that some people take longer to develop emotionally, but surely you aren't this idiotic at 25. I hope OP's ex is able to find a proper partner. As for OP, he deserves some heartbreak. Not only is he an asshole for what he did, but also for the words he chose to use. He referred to his ex as the type of girl he always gets. The guy is just terrible. User Stacy said, perfection. Carla wasn't even smart enough to try to take him for a lot of money. This fool broke up with Queen Sarah for manicure and lash fees. I wish Sarah the best in finding a man on her level. User Fox Scribbles said, Sarah was lucky to have dodged that particular bullet before she actually married that guy. With that kind of attitude, he was always going to cheat on her. A deleted user said, the dude listed every red flag possible about Carly in the first post. It's like he literally traded a rare diamond for a piece of shiny rock. He went from a woman with ambition to a woman who settled for working at a bar. Then she knew he was in a relationship and still went after him. He truly messed around and found out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side.